2, 1. All right, we're live.
I need you to stop saying we're live when we are actually rolling.
But we're live in the studio right now.
But
We're
are not
rolling.
live on anybody's feeds. We are just recording.
I think the people in the studio, which are just me and you right now, understand that we are not live, but we are live, me and you right now. We are live.
Yes, but the people who are listening to this episode a week from now, it is not live. It is pre-recorded in the Naughty Donkey studio.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are not live. We are pre-recorded.
Sorry.
Thank you, Laura May. So, what's going on, Laura? How was your day?
You know, I didn't kill anybody. I didn't die.
Why not?
Regrettably, nobody killed me, so I guess it's just another day on the farm.
So we're doing a hammered episode without a guest tonight. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
I have no idea what we're talking about. What are we talking about? I was like, you're going to take the reins on this one.
Thankfully, I do know what we're talking about. We are approximately 14 days out from Halloween.
2 weeks.
14 days. And what I love about this time of year is all the spooky shit. Like, I love ghost stories. I love watching scary movies. I love the trick-or-treating. I love just kind of like the whimsy that comes with this time of year.
What's your favorite scary movie before we go any further?
The movie that scared me the most to date is Paranormal Activity, the original. I remember watching it with a group of work friends, and I literally did not sleep for 3 days. That movie fucked me up.
You know, they do a good job with the initial movie by making it look real and making you believe it's real.
But then it blows up, and then there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they just get progressively worse.
Yeah. Like, what was it, Paranormal 4 we watched? It's the one I didn't. It was the 4 people live in the fancy house.
Yeah.
The Christmas tree.
I can't. It had like an extra title to it. I don't remember what the extra title was.
The Next Dimension or something like that.
Something like that.
Whatever.
And honestly, it's just
Blue.
like, I remember watching the second Paranormal Activity and going, okay, I would say this is equally as scary. Did I lose sleep for 3 days? No, but I remember the second one spooking me pretty good. And then the third one was just kind of like, okay, guys, that's enough.
You know, that's like the Blair Witch Project, which we just watched last week because you hadn't seen it before. I watched it when it first came out when I lived in Colorado Springs, and I'm going to tell you, I was scared to death to drive home. That's how bad that movie fucked me up. I mean, but it does not retain its worth.
And here we are,
well.
like 30 years later. Yeah. I did watch it for the first time, and legit, I was falling asleep. Like, I was dozing off in the middle of the Blair Witch Project. And that's sad for me because I want to get scared. I want something to kind of fuck me up the way Paranormal Activity did. But now I can have a challenge for us where I'd like us to rewatch Paranormal Activity because here we are, 15 years later, maybe, give or take, from the release of the original Paranormal Activity. And I have not watched it since. So now I'm wondering, is it going to do the same thing that Blair Witch did to you? Where it was like, well, that was really fucking scary the first time. And then watching it again, now that we're a little older and a little wiser, will it be just as scary?
The original Paranormal Activity was 2007, so a little over 15 years ago.
Oof.
Well, Wolf is right. So, like, the Blair Witch Project, when we watched it, had a complete different reaction from me than the first time. All I was thinking about when we were rewatching it was how annoying that girl was.
Yes.
How I would have probably killed her myself.
But with that said, for kind of the perspective from which they were filming, I think they did a really good job making it like super believable, just in terms of like the dialogue. If I'm a high school girl out in the woods looking for a witch, that unfortunately is how cringy probably all of us would have behaved.
Well, I don't know. If you're like, okay, I can understand recording everything at the beginning. And after the first couple of instances at night when you hear shit and you think you see stuff, I can understand recording that. But when like when old boy disappeared and you're still recording shit, I would have took the camera out of her hand and hit her with it. Or not even before then, when they're lost in the woods and the two guys are panicking, and you can tell their anxiety has reached a melting point.
Yeah, they lost
the
map.
Fucking recording.
They were having like a whole meltdown, but then we wouldn't have the movie. The thing that I really, really wish Blair Witch had provided us was the witch.
Yeah, you never got to see the witch. I mean...
And I do understand the psychological aspect of that. Mm-hmm. It does kind of leave you hanging, but I think it would have fucked me up more to have seen the witch at some point, like in the woods, like...
silhouette or something.
Something.
Yeah.
The psychological piece was not there.
That was a Blair Witch burp. You heard it.
So that's I guess my favorite Halloween movie is The Nightmare Before Christmas.
I was going to say you cannot say that.
Why?
It's not a Halloween movie if it's got Christmas in the title. I'm sorry.
But the whole movie is Halloween turning into Christmas.
Right. It's more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard.
Well, I think, and that's what I love about The Nightmare Before Christmas, is it has those beautiful elements of both. So the spooky whimsicalness that comes with Halloween, and like the fun and like that energy, but also like falling in love with Jack Skellington, falling in love with Christmas. It really does just kind of like resurrect that beautiful, like warm, like wonder of Christmas time. It's both. It's both. If you put a poll on Facebook right now and ask if The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie or both, I promise an overwhelming majority of the voters will say it's both.
So Jack Skellington, they spelt it like he's a rich white guy. Skellington, Skellington. All right, he's the king of Halloween Town, and he discovers Christmas Town. It's a Christmas movie. They're trying to bring Christmas joy into a Halloween town, which, I mean, come on, it's a Christmas movie.
In so doing, Halloween infiltrates and brings terror to Christmas. So it's a Halloween movie.
Well, we could sit here. I don't have a good argument for it.
It is both. I can just as comfortably watch The Nightmare Before Christmas on Halloween as I can on Christmas Eve.
Okay, but there's nothing scary about A Nightmare Before Christmas except for his love interest, which has all the scars and the sewed up like body parts.
Well, she's a rag doll.
She's a Franken rag doll. Franken beauty.
I don't know, man.
Something.
Boogie Woogie is fucking scary. That's a spooky motherfucker.
Boogie Woogie? That's her name?
Boogie Woogie is the boogeyman. Sally is the rag doll love interest of Jack Skellington.
Speaking of the boogeyman, we watched Halloween Kills last night. And spoiler alert, so I'm going to give everybody 10 seconds to turn this off because we are going to talk about Halloween Kills. I think everybody's dialed out now. Tuned out.
Assuming they dialed in.
All right. So if you want to hear about these spoilers, I'm going to go ahead and talk about Halloween Kills. It fucking sucked. It was horrible.
But it is just another one of those movie franchises that just, guys, hang it up.
Well, so it picked off, I believe, let me look it up. I believe it picked off at Rob Zombie's second installment of Halloween. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to just look it up. Want to make sure. Because I know Rob Zombie, yes. Rob Zombie made... Wow, was that all the way in 2009 he made that? Wait, that can't be right. I thought it was closer than that.
I would say Rob Zombie kind of peaked on his directing and producing career around that time because we had The Hills Have Eyes. That was fucking scary.
Well, I want to make sure I get this right. So here's all the Halloween movies. Starting in 1978, which you've never seen the original. Because you didn't know the story of...
I have seen the original. It was a long time ago.
Okay, so Halloween 2 was 2009, and that was a Rob Zombie movie. So they pick up, 12 years later with Halloween Kills. And you thought that Michael was dead when Jamie Lee Curtis and her daughter in the movie locked him in the basement and caught him on fire. But oh no, Michael's back. And he kills, what was it, like a whole fireman station.
Yeah, he killed an entire fire department.
Killed an entire fire department.
Knocked off 5 or 6 cops. Bunch of teenagers. He's just fucking rampaging.
This movie made Michael Myers out to be the Superman of fucking Halloween horror like characters.
Well, that's my understanding. Is like this is not like some super villain. He's just a really, really fucked up in the head kind of guy.
Well, excuse me.
Easy.
Almost happened again. Well, I told you earlier, but hey.
So how does someone as tall and large and slow as Michael Myers, how can't he be outrun? I'm very confused.
Well, so Jamie Lee Curtis's character said it at the end of the movie. After you thought Michael was dead, the whole community, which is the biggest pussy community I've ever seen in any horror movie, they shot their guns like they were stormtroopers. Do you get that reference? Because stormtroopers can't hit a damn thing there.
I do get that reference because of the parody in Spaceballs. They did make fun of they did make fun of that, yes.
But these people, they picked like, okay, so Michael's back in town. This one guy, he wants to lead the charge. Some bald older guy north of 50. And everybody, you would think this town had a bunch of rednecks with AKs and shotguns that wanted to go out. Like veterans that wanted to shoot somebody. You know, there's always those people ready for the zombie apocalypse. Oh, no. This town had a bunch of, like, very diverse people.
There's nothing wrong with diversity.
No, there is nothing wrong with diversity, but come on, please.
Like, if this
They're looking at guns like, what the fuck is this? How do I shoot it? Oh, my God, come on.
This movie had taken place in Charlottesville, Virginia, yes, it would have made more sense for...
If that movie would have taken place in Creedmoor, North Carolina...
Michael would be no more.
Michael would be dead.
There would be nothing left of Michael.
If it would have taken place in Allander, North Carolina, or, you know, just one of them little bumfuck Eastern North Carolina towns that I'm from. I can call it bumfuck because I'm from Eastern North Carolina. Thank you very much. But anyway, yeah. But Michael went through this town like he was smashing ants. Like, it was crazy. And so all these rednecks at the end, they circle him. They think they got him beat. They take his mask off, throw it on the ground, and old dude's got his bat. It had a name. What was the bat's name?
Huckleberry?
Huckleberry, yeah, he had Huckleberry. He's
old
ready.
Huckleberry.
I'm like, dude, man, what are you going to do with that bat? Really? You got Michael Myers right there, killed hundreds of people, and you got a baseball bat.
Okay.
Get a fucking gun, dude. What's your problem?
Well, there is a point there were multiple points in the movie where someone had a fair shake. Michael was down, and then they just stop.
They could have ended him.
Stop.
What are they doing? They're like those people in that commercial. What's that commercial where the teenagers are running around from the guy and they're like, let's get into running. Why can't we get into running car? Are you crazy? Let's go hide behind the chainsaws.
Yeah,
have you seen that commercial?
That is. I have. What is that? Was that like a Progressive commercial or like a Geico commercial? Something tells me it was like some insurance commercial.
Those people were in this movie.
Why can't we just get in the running car?
Wow, but I mean, so they circle him, they beat the shit out of him, he's on the ground, you think it's over. And then Jamie Lee Curtis goes into her talk while she's still in the hospital.
Yes.
And she's talking about how Michael has turned into pure evil, and the more people hate him and the more he kills, the stronger he grows, and he's immortal and you can't kill him. And as soon as that happens, guess what?
I feel like
slash.
That's her way of obviously alluding to another Halloween film, obviously. But now are we turning Michael Myers from a troubled child with a thirst for blood to like someone who is possessed? Is he now a demon who feeds on the fear of others?
Well, I mean, you saw when the community had him surrounded, they did shoot him. This one guy emptied his revolver into his chest, and that didn't kill him. Michael Myers is immortal. He is not of human essence anymore. There is something more to this, and Jamie Lee Curtis alluded to it. And when the movie went off, Michael was standing. So you know there's going to be another one. There's going to be another one. You can't kill him.
Quest for more money.
Quest for more money. I still need to see Jason versus Michael. This needs to happen.
I need to revisit the Jason movies.
Wait, what do you mean revisit? What's the last ones you've seen?
So a million years ago, my best friend from high school and I, we spent several nights just binge watching the Freddy movies, the Halloween movies, the Jason movies. This was like a week-long marathon she and I did. And to be honest, I don't think I've seen any of those films since then. And I think I was a junior in high school. Well,
they redone the original. And then I think they made a part 2 to it. I could be wrong. Let's look that up. Let's get my facts right.
I do remember the Freddy movies kind of fucking me up. The Friday the 13th movies. Because, that's in your dreams, man.
No, that was the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, not Friday the 13th movies.
Okay, whatever.
They kind of got off. I think they stopped making them. They just, what's that saying? I went to the well too many times.
Well, that's exactly what's happened to Paranormal Activity. It's exactly what's going to happen to Halloween. It's, these writers need to take tips from the writers of Shrek. You can milk this cow only so many times before it just stops being good. Shrek, in my humble opinion, is the only movie franchise to have multiple movies that are just as good as the first.
So I'm looking, and Google is screwing me up here. Usually they have this thing you can scroll with all the movies, but for this one, it is non-existent. But here we go. Let's see. So the latest Friday the 13th was in 2009. So it was 2 years after Rob Zombie's remake of the original Halloween. And it was directed by Michael Bay of his Transformer stardom. Oh, he was a producer. Sorry. Directed by Marcus Nispel. So you've never seen Freddy vs. Jason?
I don't think so, to be honest.
Oh, wow, man.
We've been through this. Just assume I've never seen anything.
You have never seen anything, man.
I really haven't. So, Halloween is fun. I like the spooky stuff, but the part about Halloween that I think a lot of people lose sight of is the...
giving gifts.
Oh, am I getting a Halloween gift?
Oh, that's the wrong holiday. Whoops.
I'll take a Halloween gift.
I'll give you some candy corn.
Well, I gotta buy the candy corn. Anyway, Halloween is essentially it's like every holiday, an evolution of some other kind of pagan rituals. So October 31st is believed to be the day of the year where the veil between the world of the living and the land of the dead is thinned to the point where the dead can walk amongst the living. Those are known as ghosts, very broadly speaking.
Learn something tonight, boys and girls.
So that's probably my favorite part about Halloween is, there's that super fun, children dress up, we're having a great time. There's that party aspect. But at the end of the day, the veil is thin. Ghosts are walking amongst the living. I love ghosts, man. And I think, obviously with the commercialization of any holiday, we lose sight of what exactly Halloween is for. And that, for me, is the ghosts. It's not like the slasher films. It's not that. It's the spookies. It's the ghosties.
Okay, so let's get right down to it. Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
Okay. So the other night, we went on a ghost tour. Downtown Raleigh, put on by Tobacco Road's Tours. Everybody check that out. You got to go.
They do tours year-round. It is not just for spooky season.
But spooky season makes it all the better.
If it's February and you look at your Valentine and you say, all of our favorite restaurants are booked up for Valentine's Day, get her a walking ghost tour. She'll love you forever.
It was real fun. I'm a skeptic. I think out of how many people you think were on this tour?
15-ish.
15, 20-ish, something like that. I think only 2 people were skeptics, and I was one of them. And this was a different breed of people. We're walking around Raleigh, and we go to the governor's mansion. We go to the Yarborough Hotel area where it used to sit.
The site of the former Yarborough
Hotel. The site
Hotel.
of the former. I think everybody got what I was talking about. It's not there anymore, folks. It burned down. I think it was arson, insurance purposes. But anyway, we also went to, we saw from across the street was the Sir Walter Raleigh Hotel, which is now a retirement home. Supposedly all haunted. These are all haunted ghosts. This Carolyn, which is a great tour guide, going to be on the show in a couple of weeks.
Will. I was hoping to hold off on telling the Tobacco Road's tour story because we'll have our amazing guide who took us through these stories on the show in the next couple of weeks. So definitely keep an eye out for her. But I think what I'd love for us to segue into is just,
But I'm not done yet. We can segue.
Suspending reality if you are a skeptic and just allowing yourself to believe.
I just want to tell my story.
These things exist. Okay, tell me.
The girl that fell in love with you. There was a girl on this tour. She was hanging out with these 2 guys. I'm assuming they were all from Fayetteville. I know the one guy, the guy with the bun in his hair, was from Fayetteville. And there was the other 2. There was a girl. She was young, probably your age.
I'm young?
I don't know. I guess you are. You just had a birthday, so getting old, leveling up. But anyway, this girl. So we're at the governor's. We were at the Capitol building, which is not a working Capitol anymore. But Capitol Police still guard it. It's tours during the day, and at 5:00 they shut it down, turn all the lights off, except for in the governor's office, which is not active. The governor does not step foot in that building, probably. He probably goes in that building 3-4 times a year. All right.
I mean, he might could. It's a very nice working space from what I saw in the windows.
It's a shitty office placement, please. Right there on the corner in the front. No curtains. Everybody can watch and see what you're doing. Hell no, I wouldn't want to work in there either.
As a governor, you are a public figure anyway.
Well, this girl that fell in love with you because she was just following Laura around and was like, I don't know your name, but come here and look at this. And it was kind of weird.
She was excited getting into the ghosties.
But boy, did she get offended whenever I would question anything or play devil's advocate on anything. She was like thinking to herself, this motherfucker. I could tell. You could just tell with people. And I made that one comment about, so it's not just a spirit, it's a mind reader. She goes, it's not a mind reader. Did you hear the way she said it to me?
Yes, Michael, because your phrase, it's not just a spirit, it's a mind reader. Like, you said it to be an asshole, like point blank.
I did not.
And she responded accordingly.
Well, like Laura said earlier, we're going to be talking about this when we have Carolyn on the show in a couple of weeks. So we will revisit this, but we are going to segue into Laura's skepticism. Is that what you want to talk about?
Well, no, because I'm not a skeptic.
I am. Yes.
So what I want to talk about is just the possibility, because, these things, while we see videos and we watch shows and we hear stories about all of these things that happen that seem to not have a rational explanation, there's really no, hard proof of ghosts, of spirits of people who have crossed over, who are here to fuck with your day. But I have had many, many experiences throughout my life that point to the realm of the paranormal. And I'm happy to get into it. But I guess is one question for you, Michael, before we move on. What would have to happen for you to no longer be the riveted skeptic that you are now?
I would have to experience something that would have to be life-changing. Like, it would jar me to my core, shake me to my core. I would be like, wow, what the fuck just happened? Paranormal Activity shit. But see, like, Paranormal Activity and all these movies that you see are based off of true stories. The Conjuring movies, they're all like...
Well, yeah,
they're all like based on true stories. Those two people were real people in real life. What were their names again?
I don't remember.
We're going to look them up.
Patrick Wilson.
Oh, Jesus. He was an actor that played one of the... he was also in Insidious, too.
Oh, he was in Insidious. Yeah. I do forget that. Patrick Wilson has definitely made his rounds in our movie watching lately.
Yeah.
For my birthday, speaking of ghosts, we did watch The Phantom of the Opera, the one from 2000. What year was that? 2006?
The one with Mr. 300 himself.
Then. That was like 2003, right?
Yeah, it was back then. So it was the Warrens, Lorraine Warren and Ed Warren. These are real people that actually performed exorcisms and did paranormal investigations. Like, they were sanctioned by, the Pope?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, literally the Catholic Church.
Yeah, so they actually were legit. And those, how many were based on the Warrens? Like, all of them, right?
Well,
1, 2, and 3. Yeah, those 3 movies were based on true stories, and when you watch them, you're like, holy shit, man, no way.
So I do want to provide some, quick clarification. So what the Warrens did in terms of exorcisms were casting demons from living, breathing people. This is different from interacting with a ghost or a spirit. I am of the humble opinion that demons and ghosts have no correlation whatsoever. I don't fuck with demons, which is why Paranormal Activity, just fucked me up the way that it did, because I'm going into this movie thinking it's about ghosties, which I have no issues with, and it was a movie about demons. Demons are very real entities, and they mean no good whatsoever. Ghosts can be just, existing, just repetitive energy. If you died, God forbid, tomorrow, your residual energy would probably be here in this studio. There would probably be a lot of activity coming from your desktop because you spend a lot of time and a lot of energy.
What kind of activity?
You probably be like slapping the microphones around, the monitor would turn off and on, the cameras would probably turn off and on. It really just depends on how much energy you as an entity can manifest in order to control the electronics in this room.
Interesting.
So that's anyway, that was just like my brief PSA about ghosts and demons. These are two very different things.
So, like, where does a person's conscious go once their body shuts down? Their soul.
So that is something that I have always been of the belief, it's one of Newton's laws of energies. It can't be destroyed nor created. So all of that energy that drives your physical being in the physical world, it can't just disappear or dissipate at the moment you pass away. It's got to go somewhere. So I'm of the belief that there are several different avenues that this energy can go to, kind of reincarnate itself, because it can't just die along with the physical body, right? So people will believe that a soul or the driving energy of a person goes to heaven. I would say I don't personally believe in a heaven or a hell. I think there are certain planes of existence where a soul will either just stay until it finds a body or a host for it to take back on its physical attributes.
Where is, talking about heaven and hell, where are these places? Like, where do they exist? A lot of people believe in heaven and hell. A lot of people, it's thought that heaven is up in the sky and hell is down below. Mm-hmm. Now, we know up in the sky, there's nothing but outer space for millions and millions and millions of light years. Is this a realm that is not... Yeah. What's the best way to describe it? Like a realm that takes some sort of portal.
It's not a physical place, but people inherently really just don't have the capacity to understand a realm outside of what physically exists. So as we do, we create a physical location for these things. Hell is a horrible, burning, fiery place. So we equate that with the Earth's mantle. That is hot and bubbling and full of lava, and it must suck, right?
Yeah, but we all know there's just creatures down there from that movie I watched the other night. You didn't watch that with me, where they go down in the elevator like 7 miles down, and there's monsters down there. But anyway, carry on. Or there's a land of the lost down there, where dinosaurs still live.
Same thing with heaven.
Carry on.
When we think about praying to an outside greater force, we look up. We're looking up to somebody or something to help us guide our way through life. The heavens, if you will, which I think makes perfect sense. Something as great and as powerful and as almighty as a God in, pretty typical Christian belief. I think the universe is a great space for us to kind of manifest that location because it's big and it's beautiful and it never ends. But I subscribe more so to something a little less dramatic or endure. It's really just levels of existence where you are until it's time to manifest yourself physically once again.
But why do some souls or the people, the deceased, why does some deceased consciousness still stay around?
Trauma.
Because some you never hear from. Like, the guys behind me, Chris Cornell and Scott Weiland. You don't see them haunting Seattle, singing "Creep" and "Man in the Box."
Not that
sorry.
we're aware of.
That wouldn't be one of them singing "Man in the Box" anyway. How about Spoon Man? There you go. You don't hear Chris Cornell like singing Spoon Man anywhere, do you?
But, have we researched that? You know what I mean?
I'm sure that would be a ghost story on Sci-Fi or something like that.
I think that's something that totally exists, but there's also the possibility that Chris Cornell does not haunt Seattle. This is a man who has traveled all over the world and has created memories and energy on platforms all around the world.
So ghosts are fixated on one place.
I would say soft yes. So,
but they do move, according to Carolyn, on our tour, because they went from the Yarborough to the Sir Walter Raleigh Hotel.
I would say depending on the nature of the spirit, yeah, they could totally migrate based on where they feel most at home. I mean, I'm not a ghost, so I can't say otherwise. But if if I die, God forbid, tomorrow, I really can't think of anywhere I would need to manifest my energy until the end of time.
You would manifest your energy right here, and you would be haunting me forever.
Probably.
Yes. You'd be haunting my podcast.
But as someone who's very at peace with the way things are going in my life, God forbid if I were to die tomorrow, and my spirit were to cross over, I would probably want to invest some energy in just consoling my family, because that's me being 32, dying tomorrow would probably be kind of traumatizing. I still have a lot to do in this life, so I would think if I had the choice and the energy to do so, I would want to manifest myself in my parents' home in some form or fashion, just to comfort them. Other energies are more just a tape on loop. So we heard about the soldier in the one house. What street was that on? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
The Peg Leg Soldier. So this was a gentleman who is believed to have had his leg amputated during the Civil War. He may or may not have died on the premises. We don't know. Mm-hmm. All we do know is his residual energy still exists in that house, because he is just like a tape on loop walking through that house. And honestly, there's no consciousness behind that. It's just energy that has not manifested itself into another life form or force.
Energy is what powers your vehicle, what powers batteries, what force you put on an object. That's energy. That's not energy. That's a subconscious soul. That's like an aura. I don't get the whole energy reference.
So the energy thing is, you make a good point where it's everything requires energy, right? The cars we drive, the desktop you're recording on, the lights that are on in this room, those all require energy. Now, if I'm a spirit, I am going to need to rely on that energy to power whatever message I need to get across. So if I die, God forbid, and I need to get your attention, I'm going to need to draw energy from everything in this room in order to show you that I'm here in one way or another. And that means I am going to latch on whatever is providing that energy. So that's what makes lights flicker in environments that are reportedly haunted. This is a spirit that's extracting energy from energetic sources so it can do whatever it needs to do, either manifest itself physically or like knock something over. That requires a lot of work when you are not a corporeal being.
Okay, so have you ever experienced anything like this?
I have. Yeah.
Well, let's hear it.
Really, it's really weird to, I guess, kind of revisit and like talk about, because these were like not easy years of my life. My family had moved from a house in Northern Virginia to another house in kind of Central Virginia, Carolyn County, where they still reside. They bought a plot of land and then hire contractors to build that house. The troubling part about that is where my parents built this house was on the site of an old, rundown, decrepit house where people used to live. So they bulldozed that house down and built our house, not necessarily like on top of it. Where this house did stand was kind of like in the back field. This is on like 5 acres of land. So kind of like off, tucked back in the woods. But, you know, it's no more. It was bulldozed to make room for our big old house. Literally, for the longest time, we had the biggest house on the street. People thought we were rich or something. So when you kind of disturb the resting place of a spirit, when you kind of, it's kind of like if anyone walked into your house and just started fucking shit up, you'd probably get really pissed off, right? So it kind of does the same thing with these kind of dormant spirits that are residing in their homes where they spent their lives and their deaths. So I was 10 when we moved into this house, and I remember kind of right away never really feeling at home. I don't want to say like I was scared. I don't recall being scared right away, but it was around that time I couldn't sleep at night.
So were you hearing things go bump in the night? Were people sitting on your bed? You know, the typical movie scary shit.
So like physical manifestations like that, no. When we first moved into the house, I wasn't getting anything like that right away. Weirdly, it was years later, I think I was 13-ish, 13, 14, where I started to notice physical manifestations of, I don't want to say hauntings, but, you know, in layman's terms, something was haunting the house / it was haunting me.
I need to know what you saw. Cut through the chase. What did you see? What made you think you were being haunted?
It was mostly anxiety, which I know is not like a spooky ghost, you know, hovering at the foot of the bed at night. It was the sense of something in my presence that hated me, and I couldn't figure out why. You know,
do you think it was just in your head?
No, because then it would later manifest itself physically. So there's like a whole like build to this story. This is not a thing where like you see in the movies and like, you know, shit gets knocked over, lights are flickering. Like it felt like, and this is of course in retrospect, when I'm 13 and 14, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. All I know is I'm scared shitless 24/7 and I don't know why. And that's a very weird, hard thing to go through at the, you know, ripe old age of 14. So the anxiety came first, the feeling that I was never quite alone, the feeling that there was someone in my room that hated me. And then, my mom is wonderful. How weird and hard it is to go to your parents and try to explain what you're feeling, and you have no evidence of what you're experiencing. You're just like, everything is scary and I don't know what to do. My mom is like, let's go to church. So in her attempts to create a stronger relationship between me and God, I found myself with even more anxiety because I can't pray this thing away. It's not going away. So that, on another tangent, created a very, I don't want to say volatile relationship between me and religion. But
I'm kind of lost right now.
Anyway, I digress. So things essentially are escalating. I'm not sleeping at night. I don't feel safe in my bedroom. There were nights I would wake up in my brother's room. My brother was an infant at the time, and I would just wake up on the floor of his room. And I'm assuming that's just where I ended up because I felt safer in his room. I don't know. To this day, I don't know. It kind of came to a head when I was trying so hard to fall asleep one night. And I'm a side sleeper, so I was asleep on my right side. And I was telling myself, just go to sleep. This thing is not here. It's not going to hurt you. And then I felt someone blow in my face.
Oh, it was just a breeze. You had a window open or something.
I did not have a window open.
It was an old house. There was a crack somewhere.
And even if there were what do you mean an old house? It was a brand new build. We had been in the house 3 years. It hadn't existed, but for 3 years. There.
Did it smell? Was it bad breath?
I didn't stop to ask it questions. It was literally right up on my face, and it went.
I refuse to believe that odor. It had no odor because anyone has. If anyone blows in your face, the breath has odor. No one's breath smells like fucking wind.
If it did have a scent, I don't remember it. I remember shooting up out of my bed so fast and once again waking my mom up and going, something's in the house. It just blew in my face.
And did you call 911?
No.
Did you call an exorcist?
No.
Did you call the Catholic Church?
No.
Was there an exorcist performed?
We are not Catholics.
Well, neither are these people that the Warrens were calling. They were calling the Catholic Church to perform exorcisms on people that didn't even believe in God. Shit.
Anyway.
True thing. True facts. So that was your experience with supernatural.
Growing up.
Yeah. So there's more? Oh my God.
There are more.
Ooh.
I just know that those were the very formative years of my life where, something was happening, and I've kind of, I've made a lot of peace with it, kind of going through the phase of is this thing evil?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was. I think it was just a very angry ghost that found someone that knew it could pick on.
You got this running thing going on with you with ghosts picking on you. We're at Panic Point the other night, which is a local scare farm, and all the actors just wanted to pick on Sweet Laura. Okay. One of them even chased her through the corn maze.
Those actors are not ghosts.
Well, they still picked on you.
Great. I love being a target for the living and the dead.
Well, you've got some great ghost stories, I'm sure, in your adulthood. We can save those for Carolyn.
Well, Carolyn is not a ghost hunter. She's an amazing tour guide.
She would be so much more badass if was that a possession?
No.
That was, you were possessed by a drunken beard.
The vodka.
A drunken sailor with a big-ass beard. That was his burp. Yeah.
So, I'm happy to tell more stories. In fact, I've had a lot of things happen to me in this house where your studio is located. You always call BS. You have experienced some things in this house where your studio is located.
Not this house.
Michael, you text me and you said, swear to God there was someone in my house. I grabbed the gun and there was no one there.
I don't remember that one. I think I sort of kind of remember it, but I don't remember what it was I heard or why.
You said you heard someone in the house. So I'm assuming you heard like footsteps. You said you heard someone in the house. Like in the living room? Maybe you heard the front door open? I don't remember either.
I don't remember. Look, okay.
Michael Bird, you text me and you were like, that shit freaked me the fuck out. I got my gun. The door was locked. Like there was no one there. You did a sweep. You did a full sniper sweep of your house.
A sniper sweep? Ugh.
And I'm like, babe, you got ghosties in your house.
Look, okay.
Hate to break it to you, but you got ghosties in your house.
I got one ghost story. I'll tell it. All right. So I'm living in my house in Durham. All right. This was about 4 years ago. So back when I was in the military, 1997, I bought my mother this German wall clock. It's pretty cool. It's got a cuckoo in it. Every hour on the hour it comes out, little bird, cuckoo, cuckoo. All right. So that was the first thing I really bought her when I was out on my own. It was like a high dollar valued item. So she got it, and she hung it up in her house for years. It was probably hung up from 97 to around 2015. What she passed in 16. So yeah, it was up in 2016. So it hung up for quite some time. So my mother passed in 2016. I got some items out of her house to include that cuckoo clock. Okay. Now, I hung it up in my house in Durham in the hallway. And, I was having a moment in my bedroom right after she died, and when your mom dies, it's a big emotional thing, it affects people differently.
Michael, you don't have to justify grieving your mother, okay?
Can I tell my story, please?
I'm saying you can tell your story without having to justify your grieving.
But this is how I want to tell my story. All right. Oh my gosh, folks. Anyway, where was I at? See, you done threw me off.
You were grieving
I was grieving my mother's loss in my bedroom. Now, for no reason at all, and I swear to God this happened, the damn cuckoo clock, which I thought was broke because it never went off before when I had it, and I had it for months. It never went off. The fucking bird never went off. I put batteries in it at one point, the hand up, the cuckoo never went off. I thought it was broke. So this damn thing just starts going off. I'm sitting in my bedroom and I'm grieving and I'm thinking about my mom. And I remember saying something like to myself, like, give me a sign. And the fucking thing went off. And I'm like, holy shit. And then I went over to the cuckoo clock, got it off the wall, and I'm looking at it and turned it around. And there weren't even batteries in the fucking thing. So, I mean, I am a skeptic, but that was something. Something happened right then. I don't know. I just remember looking at the clock, putting it on the bed, and going, oh, my God, what the fuck just happened? I was freaked out.
Well, that was your mom giving you a sign like you asked for.
That was the energy, right?
Exactly.
But I still think it's kind of hard to argue with it when you go through something like that.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. Some of these stories I hear, and like ghosts looking through windows and you seeing them and all that. I would believe more of the energy ghost stories than like when people see physical ghosts.
It takes a lot for a ghost to manifest itself physically to bring itself together in a like this corporeal form without actually having one. And I just want to go on the record and say your story is not a ghost story. Your story is a beautiful story of your mother just taking a moment to comfort you. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
That's a ghost story. She's dead, so it's a ghost.
Okay.
I think. I mean.
It was a beautiful story, and like I tear up every time you tell it.
If I had one of those meters the Ghostbusters had, that shit would have been going off the, what's it called, the ectometer or something like that? I got to look that up now. Hold on.
So to go back to your kind of topic about, you know, stories like yours versus stories of like physical manifestations, like, you know, shadow figures. I think my very, very first ghost encounter was when I was like 7. I was very, very young. My sister and I shared a bedroom, and our bunk beds were kind of perpendicular to one another. So mine was against the wall, and hers was underneath mine, but it pointed out. So we kind of had a shape of an L on the bunk beds. Again, I'm a side sleeper. So I woke up early one morning, and I'm on my right side, and I open my eyes, and I see a shadow figure over my sister who had been very sick. She had gotten like the flu or something. She was running a fever. She wasn't well. And, you know, you think when you're 7 and you see something like that, it immediately, you know, scares you. But the presence was not threatening or scary whatsoever. It was nurturing. It was motherly. And she was leaning over my sister. And it looked like she was like giving her something. Like it was like a motion of like kind of like spoon feeding a baby. That was kind of like the motion she had. And I just watched her for several minutes, and I just felt her like caring for my little sister. And I was like, I remember like questioning myself, like, is this real? Is this happening? But like my eyes were wide open, and I was watching this figure, you know, caring for my little sister.
I'd have been freaked the hell out.
I was not. I will never forget it. I was not scared at all. It was so nurturing and safe. Like she was obviously taking care of my sister. So.
Oh, that librarian from the Ghostbusters looked nurturing and safe when it was just reading the books off the shelf until it turned around and looked at Vakeman. And then it went, ah! Remember that?
Well, this ghost...
You've never seen Ghostbusters.
Did not turn and look at me. I remember going like, she has to go. You know, like there was something in my head was like, she's not supposed to be in here, but I wasn't scared of her. So I sat up and she like disappeared.
Ran her away.
And now I'm sad because I think she was trying really hard to take care of my sister.
You know, I would love to have someone in studio with some good ghost stories. You know, I want to hear like the scary ones, the ones like you see in the movies. I want to hear about like possessions and like demons that haunt houses. Okay. I want to hear like real.
Once again, stuff. I am here to go on the record and say that is not a ghost story. If you want to hear about possessions, like go to the archives in like the Vatican.
Well, that's a long ways away. I don't know if I'll make that trip.
I think we should go to Rome.
Man, I heard Italy sucks right now for tourists. You do not want to go over there.
Probably a lot of ghosts in Rome.
Probably. A bunch of gladiators. Sling gladiator ghosts. That'd be badass. A bunch of, like, Spartacuses running around, haunting people. Spartacus. You ever seen that series? Badass.
Spartacus? Yes, yeah. It was very good.
Well, I hope everybody enjoyed our ghost stories or our energy stories. I'll call them energy stories.
that was it? You don't have anything else that ever happened to you?
No, that's it. I don't have anything else.
I don't know. I do keep saying that there's like a body buried on the side of your house.
Well, it does look like a grave out there. And you did say you saw a silhouette of somebody on my staircase.
Oh my God. Hand to God, I've never been like so startled in this house. Okay. I'll set the scene. I think were we watching a movie or we just finished a movie? We're about to fall asleep or it was in the middle of, I don't remember. I got up from the bed and I was going downstairs to get some water. The lights were off in the hall, but there was, I think your bedroom light was on. So there was some, light cast. And I went down the one set of stairs and I thought there was a person right there. I mean, I have never been so shaken by anything in this house ever. I thought there was a person right there that I almost just like plowed into. That was scary.
How come this apparition, this ghost, this energy has not interfered with a podcast? If you're in this house right now, I need you to give us a sign, ghost, right now, while we're doing this podcast.
Michael, that is...
Alexa, turn off the lights.
So rude. Oh my God.
Whoops, Alexa's not hooked up in this room. That'd have been cool.
That's rude.
See, look, nothing.
It takes a lot of work. And honestly, I don't know who is haunting your house. You know what I mean? I sense a female energy. I've said this from day one.
It would be a female energy to be haunting my house, right? Now, I'm not alone when I take showers. I'm being stared at by some weird female ghost. Yeah. Anyway. All right. I think that's it. We got an hour.
You just could not wait for this to be over.
It was very, very informative. Well, I wouldn't say informative.
And my feelings are hurt. Now you think I'm just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because I've actually experienced ghosts.
I mean, you did make me hungry for breakfast cereal right about now.
Breakfast cereal.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa. Oh, Jesus Christ. You just say you've never had Cocoa Puffs?
Of course I've had Cocoa Puffs.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I don't know.
That was easily our worst sign off ever.
We're still going. Nobody's signed off yet.
Well, you were well, I guess we should wrap this the fuck up.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Anyway, I would love for our subscribers, our followers, our watchers on YouTube to drop us a comment. Tell us your ghost stories. Spooky season is not over, and I would love to hear from some of our listeners what they've encountered. And also validate me because your host here thinks I'm absolutely batshit bananas, and I'm probably never allowed back here again. So definitely take a moment, drop a comment. But while you're there, make sure you like and subscribe and tell us your ghost stories because everyone has them, whether they like to admit it or not.
That's right. So if you've got a ghost story or you've got any kind of story and you would be fun to talk to, drop us a line. What's our email address?
Bruh, it's your email.
hammeredpodcast@gmail.com. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's hammeredpodcast1@gmail.com. Hit us up.
Also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook under the Hammered Podcast.
Or you can check out our individual IGs that you see under our names if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah, drop me a DM, but only if it's a spooky ghost story.
Did you just ask for DMs on Instagram? Oh, my God.
I said I want a ghost story.
You might as well go get your OnlyFans now. Jesus.
And it's just me naked under a white bed sheet because I'm a ghost.
All right, folks. Bye.
Bye.